Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Dev, where today we're starting on a new, long-term, and open-ended project. Now, I really enjoyed working on our most recent Let's Dev holiday special, and though I wasn't able to complete it in time, the project sparked an itch to try again, only this time without the restrictions, which brings us to the plan for this project. We're gonna build some type of RPG survival game. But this time there are no restrictions and there is no real end goal, which means we're open to build whatever for however long we want. Basically feature creep, only it's not destructive to our overall goal. And to get us started, we'll be starting with the very basics. We'll be taking inspiration from early Zelda games by first adding a simple 4-way attack system. Then we'll create a base for a grab system and grabbable items. It doesn't sound like much, but trust me, while we have to walk before we can run, getting these done will allow us to start sprinting almost immediately. So let's not waste any more time and get to the coding. First up was the attack code, which would be represented by this generic hurt box. In the hurt box object, I added variables for an owner and their direction. I then had the hurt box's angle tied to the direction variable and set up an alarm to destroy the hurt box. Then, in a new script, I would pass the hurt box creator's ID, the angle of the hurt box, and how long the hurt box should exist for. I then use that information to spawn a hurt box in the direction of the character creating it. I'm going through the extra steps of making this a script so that this hurtbox object can be used universally between player and enemies. So with our script set up, I gave the player an attack key and had that attack key execute the hurtbox spawn code. I then moved over to our hurtbox object to tie up some loose ends. I'd hide the box for 1 frame because GameMaker's quirkiness, and also have the hurtbox deleted if the owner no longer exists. And there we had it, our hurtbox system working exactly as we needed it to. Pressing attack would create a dangerous red block of pain in the proper direction for the proper amount of time, which meant our script is working flawlessly. All that was left was to limit our attack speed with a nice cooldown. So instead of attacking every frame, we were now able to attack every 5 frames. Next, it was time to start working on our grabbing mechanic. To represent our grabbable objects is this nice yellow triangle of intrigue. Now, much like our holiday special, we'll be using a grab state and variable to target grabbables. I set up a grab key and switch with boolean cases. So if the grab key is pressed while already holding something, we reset the state to false to drop said object. And if we're not currently grabbing anything, we do a distance check for the nearest possible grabbable. And if that grabbable is in grabbing distance, we set our grab target variable to that object. We'd also have to set a couple more variables for our grabbed object, which it would then add in the grabbable object itself. I added variables for grab state, throw time, and who threw the object. Then in the step event, I checked if the object is being grabbed. If they are, their position would move with whoever grabbed them. If not, we reset the necessary variables. Then finally back to the player code, just to make sure, I again reset the grabbed object's variables. And there we had it, we were now able to pick up and place grabbable objects, similar to how you would in early Zelda games. But as great as this is, we are not quite done just yet. Going back to the player, I added a new switch to the attack code. If we're not grabbing anything, then the attack would execute like normal. However, if we attack while holding something, we would reset the object like normal, but also set its state to thrown, and in this case, have it thrown for 15 frames. Then in the grabbable object, I set up a check for being thrown, and if thrown, we'd move the item in the desired direction for however long the thrown object was set for. Again, in this case, that would be 15 frames. And with that set up, originally I was gonna destroy it, but I decided to add a breakable boolean, so if the thrown object is breakable, we destroy it, but if not, we simply reset the object to the absolute default state instead. I then realized I wanted the thrown object to ease out of the thrown speed, but that would require a bit of restructuring, so restructuring I did. And there we had it, not only can we now grab and place objects, but we can throw them as well. Again, if you've been watching a while, we've yet to really tread any unfamiliar ground. But foundations are necessary, and I can guarantee you that these foundations are going to press us forward in some new and fun ways. But for now, we've established a solid start to our project, and I can't wait to see where it goes next. However, for now, that does it for this episode of Let's Dev. So leave a like if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and turn on notifications if you haven't already, and leave your thoughts on the start of this project in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.